That's cool. Did you see the Discord message about COVID?
Yeah, the pop-up that happened.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, that's weird, but okay, that's really cool. I heard Zoom stock is going really high up.
We're live, by the way. Heads up.
I'll stop talking about my stock secrets. I'm on Robinhood if you want to hit me up.
Alrighty, guys. Let's. We didn't do active project stand up, but I kind of have an idea of where everybody's at. Designs will be like 80% done this weekend. There's a couple pages that won't be. I believe Meet the Team is the only one that isn't like almost rock solid. The rest of them are pretty much done. There was some small fixes. On the back end, we just pushed version 1 of the back end to master, and Arcus help us get the
version .2.
Or sorry, not 2.
Yeah, no problem.
So on top of that, Arcus help us get the dev API set up. So instead of like oneleif.com, you can go to dev.api.oneleif.com for the front end people to test the development backend. So that way they don't, make test requests to the legitimate backend, which will help them immensely with like just having a database for them to play with posts that are there and adding and deleting them and whatnot. Zach, you want to talk about Swift UI Kit?
I forget what I talked about last time, but yeah, no, I don't think anything's changed since we got that PR in for the layers update to have easy modifiers for the layer for any UI view. Kind of planning ahead. I think you and I met and kind of discussed
the future.
What we really need to buckle down and worry about, and also discussing having multiple interpretations of one view. So table view is an example where I've personally made 2 different interpretations of kind of different tables that I've needed or worked with. And I know Oscar has a different way that we kind of talked about, so he will be implementing his way. And kind of excited to see how that goes. I've been working on Swift UI Kit website using Vapor and Plot to show some examples and some cool little views that I've made. But that's it.
Bread for the Journey?
I've done an initial rundown on the site, really basic. If you go to the BFTJ, you can see kind of the functionality of their site and all the pages that they have, and the basics. Susie was actually going to bring up it at the design, and she actually did some work too. So I still need to talk with her.
Perfect. Well, so look forward to the updates in the One Leaf design meeting, which is in the One Leaf website playlist of videos.
Yeah.
Last active project update is for Bunny Hop. I've been reinvigorated with motivation this week and have like redone the whole freaking game. I actually have like a little snippet of how it works. So I went and got. So Zach, I decided to quit doing my dumb materials that I had been working on, and I went and just grabbed some default prototype materials to make things look a little bit nicer and easier to work with. And then I found out that I liked the orange and blue colors, even though it doesn't really fit the theme of my game at all, which is funny.
Yeah.
So then I even made like the UI orange and whatnot, which is kind of funny. And then I like finally got portals working super well. Like they're like so seamless. Okay, except for that 1 second.
Yeah, give me that Linux build. I want to see it, dude. Come on.
The Linux build is updating right. Oh, I just updated the release. Linux build is up.
Oh, sweet. Let me go get
that.
That's good.
Yeah.
So .3 just went out.
Yeah, .3 just went out. It actually has like a full tutorial finally, which is super nice. It's been long needed. Yeah, I know.
I've been so bad at it.
I actually took the time to like write up like how to bunny hop, how to use the portals, all that jazz. Oh, echo. You still there?
Hello?
Oh, I just had like a weird echo.
Hello?
Hi, Farting.
Hey, yeah, so I was speaking into my mic, but I guess you guys couldn't hear me because it was janky. I just reconnected it. But hello, sorry I'm a bit late.
No problem. We just finished up with the active project updates.
Yeah, I was listening to the bunny hop, and then Zach asked me for the Linux build.
Well, that was the end of that conversation. So
Yeah,
on
I
to the
have kind of
OneSwag
stuff.
updates. I believe we talked about this last week. We picked a sweatshirt that everybody liked, and we're gonna figure out how to get some sort of website for everybody to order. So that's I kind of wanted to talk about it at this meeting. Thankfully, Fardine is here, so we have 3 voices to kind of chit chat about this. So I called like 4 or 5 stores in Omaha. They all have relatively similar prices. I actually think I have it in a Word document. Let me find it. In the oneleif folder, OneSwag hoodie. So Omaha shirts was like, if we're only ordering like 1 to 4, it's like $60 for a 2-sided shirt per
Wow.
sweatshirt, not including shipping.
Jeez.
And then for retro shirts, it was $60 as well. But if we order 25 to 49 shirts, it goes down to like $40.
What's the decision behind using a local store versus fulfillment drop shipping
Oh, I was just looking at
service?
what the local prices would be. We haven't made a
Oh,
decision yet.
okay, got it.
So the one that I really liked actually was the one that Susie made our mock-up in custom ink. So I called their like support line and kept asking to talk to managers and talking to managers until I reached to somebody that had some pull. So I was talking to their like international sales lady, um, and basically what they said is that we can set up like, okay, I don't know the terminology here. They said something about drop shipping. I don't know what the hell that means. But basically, like we can like put one order per country, right? So we could say we can order 10 shirts to US, and then we could put individual shipping locations within inside of that, and then everybody will pay in that order. So like if you know how they do like bulk prices, if you know you're like 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So
Mhm.
we can basically have all the orders under one bulk order, but separately each person has to pay their own shipping, basically, right?
Okay.
On top of that, they can't do like one order for different countries. So, for example, Arcus would kind of have to pay he'd have to bite the bullet and pay the $60 or whatever for one shirt plus. I'm assuming
Right.
shipping's insane.
Well, even like Canada too, I guess.
Yeah, I don't.
Uh,
So I don't know of a better way to go about this. It seems like it's going to be super expensive.
well, this is one of the more popular sites. I know these guys are commonly used. I'm gonna paste it on. Where should I paste it? I don't know what an appropriate channel would be. Random.
Streaming.
Oh, streaming. All right, let's
Yeah.
put it in streaming. Uh, these folks are like one of the top searches that pop up. But to clarify what dropshipping is, Sabian, it's essentially where a store doesn't hold any inventory. It's usually shipped from the warehouse itself or the storage location.
Got it.
Yeah, so that's it. It's literally just terminology to distinguish where the inventory is. So these are some folks that come up from a basic search, but I'm sure there are probably other alternatives you could look at for pricing comparison. Trying to see if there's anyone else.
Custom Ink didn't have I talked to their tech lead or whatever, and they said they're working on getting a thing where they can set us up like a little website, or not us in particular, but their clients.
Right.
So if Printful can already do that, they'd be ahead of the game already. But basically, what that would allow us to do is everybody is like part of one team or whatever, and then whenever me, Zach, or Susie decides to hit the fulfill order button, then it takes the bulk pricing into account rather than us ordering them one at a time. You know.
Right. The thing with Printful is that it integrates with quite a few services. So if you do decide to go with, let's say, Shopify, or heck, if you even want to code into their API,
Oh,
um,
sweet.
uh, it kind of covers the web store part of it. Um, yeah, the fulfillment thing, it's definitely going to be a challenge, especially as you mentioned with different countries and different batches of people that come in, right? Like if most of the people order now, what do future people do? Uh, I don't know if Printful has. I haven't looked into the pricing too much, so I don't know. I don't know how they charge, but it's worth a look.
Got it. So really, it's probably going to take. It might be a bit longer of a term discussion than just making an instant decision. Yeah, their prices are similar to ours, or to the rest of them.
Right. Oh, here I
Actually,
found
they're a decent bit cheaper
shipping
actually.
policy. Uh, yeah, and it looks like it just ships out based on whoever's ordering. So if I were to order from Canada, it would charge me whatever rate is for Canada, and vice versa, instead of charging crazy rates out of the wazoo.
Got it. And I wonder if it would almost be cheaper to just like ship them all to Zach and I, and then we can individually ship them to you guys.
But then, are you accounting for effort as a cost as well? Because
That's
at the
fair.
same time, you want to set up a decent pipeline. I don't think it's feasible and realistic to keep counting on you guys being the distributors, because that's a lot of work on your part.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just some considerations. Usually, like for all the organizations that I was part of in university, we went local because it just made more sense. But One Leaf has that global problem to it. Well, not problem, really, challenge.
Weird. Their price doesn't change based on quantity.
Yeah, so it's basically charging the person that's ordering. So again, if I were to order whatever from Canada, I'd pay $10, and if I were to tag on other items, then I'd pay $2 on top.
Got it.
Hmm.
Hold on. Can I change? Oh, let's try a Poland address. I'm just curious.
They also have stickers too, so that might be consideration too.
Let's pick you.
And fanny packs. Are you customizing an order right now?
Yes. I don't know how to read Polish. Is this their zip code? Nope. Am confused. Alright, I'll have to play with this in my free time.
Dude, it's the state and yeah. Oh, so close.
It was a what?
It's all in one line. I think the first one's the street, the second one's the zip, and then.
No, I tried moving that to the postal/zip code and it said no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Oh, I gotta change countries. Derp. Poland. How about? Yep.
I mean, you
Alright,
could
I'm
use
gonna
a
watch
zip code
this.
from my end if you want to test countries out. But
Calculate shipping. Oh, email. One leaf dev.
Yeah.
uh,
One leaf dev. Continue. Oh, $254
what?
Okay.
Where?
to Poland. I wonder if that's because I selected 100 and some t-shirts.
Probably why. I think that I was like, one shirt? What?
Okay, it's
What's the
It's
wonder?
$6. Okay, that's reasonable. $32 for a sweatshirt is not bad at all. Okay.
Considering the alternative is 60, yeah, I'd say so.
All right. Okay, cool. I like Printful, and the fact that they have an API set up, we could put it on the OneLeaf website. I like that. I like that a lot. So, yeah, I didn't find anything better than Printful. Maybe I shouldn't have checked local. Maybe I should have checked more online. The only online one I checked was Custom Ink. All the local ones basically had the same thing.
Yeah, well, local is generally better, but I guess just again because of the global
No, yeah.
restriction
I
or
just,
constraint. Sorry.
I know one of the local print shop owners, and they said they'd give me like a $15 to $20 discount per shirt, but it'd still be $40 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, Printful looks like it's the way to go here. Okay. Oh, we already talked about Bread for the Journey. Haha, mentor channel again. Zach, you want to take away with the mentor channel?
Yeah. So, and was there a last announcement? I forget. Two announcements. No, one announcement. Yeah. So our weekly announcement on Monday, we introduced a mentor channel where you can go into interest and click on the nice little business cat if you want to sign up to be a mentor. It's a voluntary position, and it really there's no, I guess, bar to it. Anyone can be one, and we'll try to find a mentee, or we'll try to pair you up with people if we hear anyone. Like, it's a little channel where we can talk about who's mentoring who or anything like that, or if someone knows someone that needs to talk to someone. It's just kind of a connecting spot for the mentors to talk about that. But other than that, we're looking for new people to talk, or not talk, to join and be, or sign up and be a mentor. So that's pretty much that.
How many mentees are there?
Everyone that's not a mentor.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no distinction on their end.
It's more. I mean, that's a good point.
It's kind of like an as needed. From what I had assumed was our progression with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody says, "I want to learn iOS and I don't know where to start." Zach says, "I got you."
Got it. So it's basically, it would be, mentors would be people that are just more involved in educating then, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That and
Okay.
our other thought process was, if you look at anybody's rank, or like if you click on their name, you can see other roles, and you see mentor, you'd be more likely to reach out to them. And we made sure to put that in the wording of the interest, was if you see somebody with a mentor role, feel free to reach out to them, because it's kind of their job.
Yeah, and also it's not really stated, but as a mentor, it's more of a longer relationship than just someone put in the help channel that they need help with iOS. Okay, I helped them. It's more of like, how are you doing? Like, what have you just learned? What are you trying to learn?
It's like
Can
a
I help you with
one-on-one
the
daily
problem? Of course.
progress.
Yeah, it was more of that outreach that we're going. So hopefully people that are more outreachy and want to chat with people, or just message people and try to find who they want. Yeah, the mentor kind of role, you'll see it on the side. So you'll see it, I think, above Daily Coder, for reference on how to actually see if someone is a mentor.
Right.
But yeah, they hopefully will reach out like Sabian and I do.
I think Fardine,
Okay, yeah.
I think Fardine, you might have a good idea here. If in the interest channel, instead of so we can sign up for mentor, but we can also sign up for mentee, and basically if they react to it, Zach, you and I can go in there weekly and look at their reactions and go find them a mentor. And once they do, we tell them to unreact. So then that's an easy way to keep track of who has a mentor.
Yeah, well, the thought process behind that, for me at least, was that it's a lot of effort on you guys being the current mentors and managing this whole process to know who really needs that one-on-one. And heck, even if someone does reach out, do they understand the level of commitment that's expected, or what they're putting up as commitment? Granted, it's very flexible and very chill. Like, it's very clear on the mentor side, but I don't know if it's as clear on the mentee side, essentially.
That's fair. And
Yeah, because
I
even
think a
in
lot
the
of people would.
announcement.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, even in the announcement, you guys highlighted what a mentor is, but
Not what a mentee is.
but not what a mentee is, right? What is expected to, in terms of being a mentee? What does it mean for building a personal relationship with you guys? Do they know to expect those one-on-one check-ins? Do they know how you'll be very hands-on with helping them, and that they can come to you with all those questions, or any personal advice as well, depending on the boundaries?
I don't know. That's tough, especially when the mentor role is so voluntary, where it's like, hey, yeah, okay, I'll be a mentor for a week, and then I'm done. I don't want to be a mentor anymore.
Right.
If we're just laid out so much with the mentee should expect this, then how do we even start with the mentors from a voluntary position? I mean, oneleif as a whole is kind of a voluntary position.
Right.
If you're even here, but it's like kind of double that. Like, maybe you're free Tuesday nights, and your mentee or someone that you're more connected with, and it's really kind of not even like a valid title. Like, it's more of just like, I'm interested in this. It doesn't mean I'm actually it. It just means I'm interested in being a mentor.
Right.
I don't think it's actually like 100% now this person is your mentor for, like 40 years. It
Right.
might work out, but we're not trying to force that. We're trying to make it more organic of like, hey, maybe you can learn from each other.
Uh, yeah, no, that makes sense. I think you've got a fair point about it becoming too administrative, especially if there's more complexity. But that being said, maybe it's not a matter of a revamp. Maybe it's just making a separate, dedicated channel post highlighting what the program is in general, and then um, and talking about all of this in the post itself, so that it's clear from the get go.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think also we need more mentors since it's just us, Savian, Susie, and I. So if we do
Well,
make a post, we might get overwhelmed right now. So
I can
I
I
think,
can
yeah,
put myself up for. Oh, I don't know how qualified I really am to be a design mentor. I definitely think there's more skilled people in the channels, but I can put myself if that helps reduce the burden.
Yeah, Fardine, we're just gonna lean on you for everything.
yeah.
Well, like,
Honestly,
okay, I
hey,
like talking.
Swift farting.
I like talking about design, so I can't really help with anything dev wise, but for design stuff, I guess since there's the two of you, I'll try to back Susie up as well. If anyone does want design help.
That's fair.
I think there might also need to be some sort of understanding on when to post in the mentor channel and when to post on the help channel. Otherwise, which one is better,
Hmm.
and why
Yeah.
would you post in one and not the other?
Yeah,
I
so
think
specifically, the mentor channel is more for anyone with the rank of mentor to talk about, who's kind of talking to who, or like, do you know this person needs help in anything, or have you talked with this person?
Okay, got
And
it. It's
yeah,
like an
it's just
internal.
we
yeah,
we
it's
could.
just to not step on anyone's toes. Be
Got it.
my
Got it.
if Sabian's teaching someone Unity and they just jumped in. It's like I want to make a game, and Sabian teaches them Unity, and I go after them with iOS. Then it's like like you can do iOS, Swift, Scene Kit or that stuff for it's kind of like mixed signals and just understanding like, all right, yeah, you focus because it's supposed to be more of a one-on-one. It's not supposed to be a free-for-all of, okay, now I have all these people. Like I guess mentor is different than connection. Like mentor is a
Uh,
very big connection,
right.
but like there's so many people that you can connect with. Like you just said, like once you post in help, how many people can help you versus you kind of have that person that you can always ask and you're more used to. But I guess at that point that you've gotten help from multiple people multiple times, like those are still kind of the same feels. Like you can reach out to people in private message for help too.
Right. Um, okay, that definitely makes sense. A proposition though.
Hmm.
Um, would it be possible to name the mentor channel Mentor Lounge?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Zach, you doing it or you want me to?
Um. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
I think it also just makes it cooler.
I'm a
Like,
mentor. I got this extra room that nobody else does.
oh, there we go. Party was, I guess. There's appeal to it, then definitely, yeah.
Don't you
Yeah.
dare change
No.
that channel name. Mentor Party Bus is the new. It's the new channel to be in.
That's too good. But yeah, okay. I think anything else on mentor? I think the notes to take away from this are that we need to more promote the whole interaction of mentor and mentee.
Yeah, like a
Trying to get more
descriptive,
people connected and yeah.
yeah, like an informative post on what the program is, or at least what the goal and objective of this new direction is.
Okay, cool.
All right. On to the hot topic of this week. Kind of defining what. Hold on, let me reorganize this a little bit. Kind of defining what makes open source open source. So a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago, we made a oneleif publication on Medium, and a couple of the oneleif members had started making posts there. And this week, the topic was brought up that is it really considered open source if these OneLeaf articles are behind a paywall? Because you have to become a Medium member to read the articles, right, Zach?
Yeah, and it's more specifically the issue that we have members that, have every right to these articles, and Medium blocks them after some point of viewing articles. If you go and you don't have a Medium account, or you're not premium, and you try to go through the whole one leaf, I can't talk, one leaf publication, you can't get through all the articles, as I understand
I
it,
think you
right,
can read like
Ian?
5 per day or something like that.
Yeah, it's 5 per month.
Oh,
So as a free
Yeah,
user, you have 5 per month.
So yeah, that's the issue, is that one Medium helps the people that, join the member program and, get paid to write blogs or views and that stuff. But then it's also behind the paywall. Yeah.
So our solution to that is once the OneLeaf website is up, you can post your blogs there and they'll be free. But if people happen to find them on Medium, you could still make money off it, because we want to not only promote your article, but we'd also, help to like to help you in your professional life. And Medium is a go-to place for that type of thing. So in order to keep the spirit of open source, basically the main source of the article would be on the OneLeaf website, and then you could link out to Medium if you wanted to, and say, if you have a Medium, read it there, because then I get like a penny or two or something. There would be no
Or
reason for us to not support that if you have a Medium account.
you could also just jump on the train of making your social profile on GitHub and just making all your, blogs on, GitHub or an open source, and then bringing it to whatever, OneLeaf and that stuff.
Or go to Mastodon instead of Twitter.
Yeah. But we'd like to have it as a single source of truth and one leaf website holding those articles, and then making it easy for, if you wrote it on one leaf website, to export it and to publish it on Medium or wherever you would like it to be published.
Yep. And that led into the topic of, is this open source? And the point that we're kind of wanting to make today is open source doesn't necessarily mean free. So, for example, oh man, what was the example that we used? Linux?
Linux
Was it Linux?
Or Ubuntu.
receives donations.
Yeah. So for example, what we could do as a OneLeaf GitHub, and what Zach and I promote, is become a part of the OneLeaf GitHub, and then add to your profile. Hold on, I think Zach has his. Hold on, let me pull open GitHub.
Are you going to show them how to donate to me?
Not to you specific. Don't donate to this man. Fuck this guy.
No.
Oh, you don't have your Ko-Fi on there?
It's not on my page. It's on a repo.
Oh, is it on SwiftUIKit?
Yeah. Like one of my main ones.
Nope. Anyways, so you could oh, hold on. You could, on your GitHub page,
It's at
like
the top.
near your links, you could put in your Ko-Fi, which is basically a kind of like Patreon or something, where people could buy you a coffee, a coffee's worth of money, I guess. And so, like, if people find, so for example, if Will or something spends 100 hours this week, unfeasible obviously, but he spends 100 hours this week doing some awesome feature, I don't want to say feel obligated. I would like to be able to pay him for his time, or as a thank you for his contribution to not only OneLeaf but to open source, or to something that I have an interest in. So even though the work that he's doing is technically free and open source, he could still get paid for his time. So for example, the example that we're using is Ubuntu. The operating system itself is free, but if you want to use it in like business or something, in order to pay for the services and support, or in order to get the services and support, that's actually like man hours built into it. So that has a cost. But the software itself, you could still go out and install it for free. But if you want any of that extra stuff, that's going to cost, because that's not part of the actual like code base. Um, I have a hard time coming up with an example for how open source would work with design, because usually like designers want to get paid for their time, right? At least for I mean,
There's
depends.
actually the link I posted on the core team. The post I made about the meeting tomorrow. If you look at the link, that's actually It's a design tool, but it's open source.
Oh, sweet.
It's not really visual design or graphic design. It's a simple checklist, so it's nothing crazy in terms of development, but it is fundamentally a design tool. So that's an example of a design tool being open source.
GIMP's open source.
Well, that too. Like if you want
I
to,
like GIMP versus Photoshop. Photoshop's
So
scary.
I guess tools versus products is kind of the distinction for open source, right? Or maybe even
not
not. Because like
necessarily.
my game, for example, all the code's open source. You could go download my game for free, but when I'm done with it, I'm going to put it on Steam for, I don't know, $1 or $2.
I'm going to paste something on resources. Maybe this will help anyone who's confused about the legal side of it, and it's actually a very good resource and a read through. But it's very well, according to what I interpret from a lot of the reading on this site and elsewhere, it's very much a spectrum in terms of how open your license is, and it really depends on how you define it in legal jargon. Um, Generally, it seems like if it is open source and you're referring to it as open source and you really don't have any custom license around it, it tends to be the sort of open source we think about, where people can pull and contribute and modify and pretty much edit in any uh, shape or form, um, without much repercussion. But um, you can add a custom license to it that allows some of these things, but still has considerations on how to do it, which is a more restrictive form of open source.
Yeah,
So
I've seen a couple different
Mm.
variations of that. Like one would be you can use this for open source, but as soon as you make money off of it, that's not allowed. And I've also
yeah,
seen if you're going to use it for any sort of business, you at least need to give us like an attribution or a watermark on your final product.
yeah. So in that case, it would be copywriting, which
Yeah, that's in the MIT. Like most of the MIT license, I think, they're okay with commercial use, but they ask for acknowledgement, and a lot of commercial use don't acknowledge the open source licenses, or not license, the open source libraries and frameworks that they use. But going on Sabian's point of, if he makes this game open source, it's free, you can download it, you can just download the release. If he puts it to Steam, and this extends past his project and past anything, it extends to anyone in open source where they put it on Steam and make it, let's say $1. Where does that money go? If 5 more people start contributing to the project, how do you split it with open source? Because then you're like, okay, now you have a funnel. Like it needs to be more established than that, and that's where it's like, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable taking money from any open source project that I make. I, like Sabian touched on, we really are striving for donations for people to support with the open source.
right,
But
or
yeah,
sponsorships.
to actually make a pipeline, or a pipeline of money and a product and that stuff from an open source product, is more of using it as a framework. So let's say Sabian builds this up and it becomes a community project and it's a pretty cool game that's free. I think that he is fully able to fork it, make changes on his own private repo, and release that game for paid, because he has made changes to that and he is specifically working on that by himself.
Right. In that case, the question before we get into revenue streams is, um, well, this is more a two-part question. The first part is, as I'm not as familiar with open source as you guys are, is it possible for two parties to essentially, well, one party to have created something that is open source and the second party to then have created a split project off of that original code base? Can they both claim that they're separate products and have conflicts over that?
So I think in general, like, okay, let's say for example, I branched off of Linux and changed one line of code, right? And I said it doesn't say Linux at the top when you started; it says Sabian OS.
Yeah.
I think I very well could be wrong. The legal stuff around this, like you said, is very complicated. But from what I understand, there basically has to be like a differentiation of intent. So like
Okay.
if I were to just change my name and and Linux took me to court for making billions of dollars off this thing, not that they do that or whatever, but I would have a very very hard time proving that I put in enough work to differentiate me from Linux, right? By just changing one
Mhm.
line. Whereas if somebody forked off my game and they, I don't know, kept the assets or something, if those are copyrighted or those weren't released, they could get in trouble for that. Or I don't know, they just like added a level to the end, for example. Like, unless you like change the core or change the direction, I don't think that they could get away with it, depending on the license.
Right. Okay. So then the second.
Hello?
Oops, I disconnected. Sorry. Um, right. So the second part of the question would then be, is should OneLeaf have a code of ethics? If I don't know if there is already one, a code of ethics and some sort of um, disclaimer or informational post for people coming in and proposing projects or bringing their projects into the community and looking for contributors.
I,
That hey, this is what's going to happen. This is just general conduct we expect, and you should look into this and this and this before you bring it under our hood.
I think that's fair for everything except for organizational projects, like the OneLeaf website. None of it,
Yeah,
like that, we've all done so much work on it that like none of us own it, and like I wouldn't even be
yeah,
like anybody can take it and run with whatever because that's kind of the point of the project. But yeah, you have a good point on people bringing personal projects. Like my game, for example, if I were to publish it to Steam, I probably would make it free, and then have like there'd be a button to say you could just download it now, or you could buy it for $5 and download it. So like you don't have to pay for the game, for example, right?
hmm
But if you want to, I think donations is probably the like almost a requirement of open source, unless there's like a service to be offered. But
hmm
I do think you have a good point of if somebody brings in a project and they say, okay, I just want free work, and then when I'm done, I'm going to sell the game and bye guys, and then they take the repo and turn it private or whatever.
right. Or if someone copies someone else and like there's an internal community dispute or something like that. I think having something organizational that covers OneLeaf, but also sets the ground for how people should conduct themselves, just out of respect for one another, kind of helps
And
formalize this a bit.
thankfully, we haven't really had to deal with that quite yet.
It
But
never
it's
happens till it
inevitable.
happens.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
it's almost inevitable. At some point, somebody will be like, "Oh, there's money in this. Oh, hey, it's
it's
free. I can
like
just
it's
steal
like
it
the
and do whatever."
pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what Sabian hasn't mentioned is that we've been planning to work on. We have a ticket for it to work on the contributing markdown page for like
Oh yeah.
just and that and so the reason that hasn't that's an easy thing of like how do you contribute to this project, kind of a rundown of like, okay, here's how we do branch management or whatever, what tools we use and that stuff. But really we want to take a step back and work on like the one leaf contributing resources, so people can quickly understand what license to pick for their personal projects, because we've never touched on that. Just short one like MIT, just easy one to go to. But I've heard that like it's hard to go from one license to another, like specifically one to another, and like otherwise it's like easy to switch. But it's like really knowing which ones. But yeah, I think we do need contributing docs, expecting for what's the word, intellectual property. Definitely any work that someone brings in personally, they own it. That's kind of why it's project owner as the rank that they get if they bring an active project in, because like regardless of what happens, like we want them to own it, we want them to feel comfortable that they own it. But then yeah, we do have that little worry of if they just take advantage of all of us and kind of, hey, here's open source, and like Sabian said, just make it private after, we've gotten, work done. It really hurts everyone that's contributed, because now it's like, oh, well, now you can't see what I've contributed to, you can't see the that I did this amount of commits or anything, blah blah blah. But
Yeah, and like oneleif's credibility also kind of gets hurt. Um, no, definitely. I think the sooner it's in writing in some sort of guidelines or however formal you want to get with the actual documentation. But I think once it's in writing, it's it's set in stone, right? Like like you guys and the community can say, "Hey, look, we've had this. There was no reason for you guys to not follow it." It kind of absolves oneleif of any negligence.
So I think there's three parts of this. One is protecting each of the developers. One is protecting the project owner to keep his property and not have somebody steal it. And the third one is basically almost a legal guarantee. We have the rules channel. We could almost put a little like how we have the reactions. It's like if you click on the reaction and interest, it gives you the role or whatever. Basically, it won't give you full access to the Discord until you acknowledge the rules. That way, we have something legally to stand on if somebody does take the project. It says they agreed to this agreement, and it doesn't even have to be in legalese. It can literally just say, the project owner owns the project. You have no property over it, but project owners, anybody that works on it, you can't hide the work that they did. They get credit for it, right? So,
Yeah, like even something small as that would be hugely beneficial.
yep, and like a verbal agreement is really hard to
yeah.
show. So it doesn't have to be in
That's tough.
legalese. It doesn't have to be difficult. It just has to explain at least a little bit of what our expectations are, if that were to happen.
Yeah, so I don't know from the design side, but at least on GitHub for like the oneleif organization on there, oneleif can fork that repo, and we can do all work in the oneleif repo and always keep that public.
And then that person doesn't have control over.
They could make theirs private, but we still have the project at where it was last at.
I think that's probably the best way to go about it.
I'm not. Yeah, and I'm saying that's how open source works on GitHub right now. Is that you can fork and you have the code and all the history up until what you forked. And yeah, I don't know, Fardine, do you want to touch on like contributing for designs? Like, I have no idea.
Sure. Yeah. So typically with design stuff, it's gonna fall under Creative Commons.
Yeah.
It's like whether it's a photograph or if it's a visual graphic or like an icon or whatever it is. It's a bit more challenging because you'd have to upload it to a public database for it to be considered under a public copywriting license. Whereas if it's on a personal profile or a personal site or some sort of personal depository, it's not considered to be public, and especially if it's explicitly said that it's private information. I don't know how it works in tandem with GitHub. I do think that it does follow GitHub rules once any visual asset is dropped in a repository. I think it gets lumped in with the code itself too, that this is all part of the project itself, and therefore it follows the same rules as the code. GitHub probably has a section on it somewhere. I haven't personally read up on anything, but otherwise it's Creative Commons. It would follow. It would follow that rule.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think even having kind of like a best practices guidelines too, right? I guess this would be more for the design team, but informing any future designers on where to upload their work if they want it to be considered public/private, and then how to go about contributing design-wise to a project. Yeah, because I guess you guys are lucky in that sense that developers had all of this figured out a while back, and designers we're still working on it.
Yeah.
One day, designers just be like, "Oh, we just need a GitHub of our own."
There is something of the sort. I don't know if you both are familiar with Abstract.
Nope. I will.
Let me see if I can get the link really quickly. It's kind of like the GitHub for designers. There's one or two alternatives, but these guys are the main.
Design version control.
Yeah, yeah. Figma introduced it recently into the app itself, so now they have design control within the application. And I think Sketch is also, if I'm not mistaken, Sketch has also done the same. But before, anyone using Sketch would have to rely on Abstract for version control.
Ah, so much better. Yeah, we should definitely look at moving everybody to abstract because, like, if I don't know if Daniel ends up making a change to one of the illustrations and he doesn't have the save or whatever.
The only problem is that it's only Sketch compatible, so we wouldn't.
Oh.
We wouldn't be able to.
Never mind.
Oh, they actually have an XD version. I lied. So if we ever use XD, then definitely.
I assume the Figma stuff is in the works.
Yeah, well, Figma has version control already. So if you were to go on our workspace, for example, and you, let me see how to pull it up. You'd have to click on the hamburger and go into file and then show version history, and you could see all the changes made by everyone.
I don't have permissions, but I assume you're right.
Let me take a screenshot.
Maybe I'm showing the wrong one.
Here you go. I'll post it under. Should I post it under streaming?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you'd see something like this, and you can see all the versions on the right side.
Oh, perfect. Cool. Are most designers aware of this? Do you know?
This came out recently, I think 2 months ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were people not unfamiliar with Figma that don't know about it, or if they have been using it, they haven't really read up on the updates. But at the same time, I don't think the process itself is foreign. Like if they're not using this, they're probably using Abstract with their Sketch, Sketch app or some sort of other version control process. I know Daniel and Raya uses. They both use Sketch, so I'm pretty sure they're familiar with Abstract.
Got it. So, last topic. We have some other fun ones that we can go over, but we're getting close to the hour. Oneleif financial future. Ooh. This is something that we've had a few ideas on. Partnerships, recruiting, like legitimate tech recruiting and getting a kickback. Donations, obviously. But how to set up those donation streams and what would make it worth somebody else's money is not something that we've explored intensely. So any ideas, boys?
Oh, Priscilla posted. I think she's watching the stream as well.
Wouldn't surprise
Priscilla.
me.
Or is she in the voice
Plant.io. Hope. Priscilla, you lied to me.
No, it's on the website. You have to. It's plantapp.io. So if you were to actually. Oh yes. Okay. These were the alternatives. This was the alternative to Abstract.
Got it. Interesting. I'll have to poke around on these sometime.
The site's so beautiful. You gotta stay away. It looks too good.
Know.
I wish I could make something like that.
That's design team right there.
I think Oneleif financial future might actually be a good discussion for the core team. Just get some input from everybody on where they think how Oneleif could grow and expand and scale and all that jazz.
This is one of those things where more ideas are better.
Yep. I 100% agree. So I'm gonna keep this as a note for the core team meeting on Sunday. Because it looks like both the front end developers and Arcus are coming to the design meeting, so it'll be a good time to talk about it.
Yeah, and then we can hopefully announce / schedule one-on-ones with the core
Oh, with
team.
Tina?
No, with us.
Oh, yeah. We have that written down in the Trello.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, it's either I think we need to do like an internal one because either we like message everyone in core team or just have everyone there and kind of get times from everyone that just work for them.
Yeah, I'm updating the notes as we go, so I'll move those to the Notion
Sweet.
for the core team meeting. Some other fun topics if we want to go over them. I guess this will kind of be part of the financial future. It'd be like Notion, Circle CI, and other tools that we might need to pay for. I think that'll kind of go hand in hand with that. How we want to handle those things. And then as far as tracking how we can add stream ideas, currently I've just been doing it in the streaming channel. But maybe a Notion page that people can just go in and add ideas at any time, because it's kind of a pain in the butt scrolling back through the streaming channel to find them.
I would not recommend the Notion approach just because you don't want to give a public you
No,
don't
yeah,
want to
you're
give
right.
public access out.
No, yeah. That's why I said Google Form as well.
Yeah,
it would
forms
almost,
might be better.
yeah. I was almost thinking it'd be a page for the V2 website would be really nice.
Uh,
I mean, it's working for us for now. But as we scale,
yeah.
I'm assuming we'll have a ton more of these ideas that pop up.
Yeah, I'm thinking about V3. We stream on the oneleif website,
Ooh,
and people can vote and submit ideas on there, and
kind of like
just
a mixer.
drive content on the oneleif website as like a multiplex. But I'm in V3, so I'll just take a step back. I got to go work on search, in the back end. So
That, and we would be getting into the habit of thinking from what serves us the best instead of what serves whoever is coming to the website the best.
Well, guys, that's kind of all I had for the meeting. Anybody else want to chit chat about anything? We're pretty much right at the hour mark. We filled the time slot.
No. Oh, I just got to write the project proposal up for the database stuff. It's kind of hard though because I don't really plan to. Well, since I am more on the design side, I guess having a similar approach to what Will did or the others doesn't make sense as much. For me, it's more intuitive to either showcase some wireframes or make a PowerPoint or like a Google Slides.
I mean, if you want to wait and make wireframes with a proposal and like put it up as docs and that stuff, and I don't know. I understand it's weird to just put up, here's the idea and we're gonna start working on it, and it has really no foundation. But I don't know.
We can at least have it in writing.
I could have everything on slides. So it's like, hey, here's the scope. This is what we need. This is what we're gonna do. This is the timeline.
Yeah, and we've really left, proposals open to however someone wants to propose it, as long as it's planned out and you're not gonna like propose it and then just oh no, never mind. Like if it's something that can be an active project, then yeah, like I mean, you can make a small proposal of just like here's the link that leads to whatever, or you can have slides, you can have a video, blah blah blah. But yeah, I don't care what you do, as long as you feel comfortable doing it.
Fair enough. I can appreciate that. Yeah, that's everything from my end.
Cool.
Well, gents.
Okay.
No, yeah,
I
go
don't
for
know
it.
if it's stream topics. My work. Oh my gosh, it had so many cancellations of like PC delay and stuff. Oh, we had that on TV the whole time, and then we just had too much, and we left work early and went to the Drover and had some nice liquor.
Hey, the Drover's the place to do that.
Yeah, that was ridiculous though. It was just close after close. And if you don't know, my company from now on does the tournaments for like the NCAA. So we have the apps. We don't do the tournaments, sorry. But we have the apps, Android and iOS, for the kind of fan experience of it. But yeah, now that they've canceled it, they're not even going to use the apps.
Good
Rip.
lord.
We were getting kind of excited when they're like, okay, we're just going to have the players play. But once the NBA the Jazz guy got sick, they're like, all right, no, we're not going to take any athletes. We're not going to let the athletes get sick. But yeah, no, they would have like, streamed or watched in the app and actually used the app more if they couldn't go to the game. And that's one of the ways they can watch it. But, oh, dude, it's like summer already for me. There's no games.
Mm.
That's all that I have. That's my point. Long day.
Yeah, like it's crazy how a lot of things just happen in the last 72 hours. Like I feel like the scale of events just exponentially also increased.
Yeah, no, it was ridiculous. But it feels the reason it feels like that is it's because it's rubber banded, and we're trying to do catch up. And
Yeah.
not trying to scare anyone or anything like that, but like just make sure you wash your hands, stay clean, don't go coughing on people.
If you're not over
Stay
80
home while
years
you're
old, you're good to
sick.
go.
Well, I wouldn't
Shit,
put stuff
No,
like that on the
yeah.
public domain.
yeah.
But yeah, no, just definitely
Speaking sarcastically.
follow
Yeah,
news
you need to
feeds.
like say that before and after.
Follow best practices as outlined by WHO and governmental health agencies, and
Dude,
do
so
your
many
best
cities and states have declared a state of emergency.
to be aware. Yeah.
Yeah, except for our state, right? And we have, they're like flying people.
Into our state, yeah.
I can see the hospital that they're flying them in because, like, I'm so close.
This is so weird to see happening in the States, because one of the biggest debates in the States is the healthcare system, right? It's around the
Yep.
healthcare system
Yep.
and public health agencies, right? And being in Canada, where it's the opposite side of the coin. Granted, we're not as
Yeah, I was gonna say I need to come up to Canada for your healthcare. Oh my goodness! Like the fact that they're debating if people like it's just like, hey, should we have this vaccine for free? It's like, oh my gosh! Like, are you really gonna make us pay for this?
It's so strange
And
because, like, just today, our prime minister decided to announce that he's self-isolating because his wife just got back from a trip from the UK, and right next to it, while I was reading The Guardian, Trump announced that he's. I don't know. I don't want to get political here for anyone watching, but this is more so just what's reported. Trump announced that he's not even going to bother testing himself when it just got discovered that a Brazilian cabinet member reported positive after a couple of days of being in his presence. So, like, on one end, we have the Canadian leader like completely self-isolating before even doing a test, and then
like,
Trump
they're
on the other end saying,
like, isn't Trump campaigning, right? Or no,
yeah, he
like,
hasn't shut down rallies, but all the
yeah.
Democratic the two Democratic candidates left right now have both postponed rallies until further
Well,
notice.
I'm not. The last thing I'll say about political is Joe Biden's gonna fight someone by the end of this.
Yeah.
Oh,
American
yeah.
politics are so freaking funny. Oh my goodness.
Well,
But
it's not as funny when it
yeah.
affects the rest of the world.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's okay. Funny in a cynical manner, I suppose is the way to say
yes.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's just stupid. I hate it.
Also fair.
Let that go on the record. I hate American politics.
But
And
yeah,
that's
no,
how we're
it's,
ending
I'll
the
come up.
stream.
I'll come up to you. I'm coming up to Canada, Fardine. Do you have a room for me?
there's always room. You just have to pass our immigration test.
Oh, learning? No, us developers, we're not good at that.
No, there's an actual scoring system. So
Really?
you get marked on certain parameters. Let me link.
You said sorry
Yeah,
instead of
send it.
sorry. You're 80% Canadian. I said mate though.
Blimey? Did you say blimey?
Oh,
No,
part
no.
Australian.
Oh.
That's Australia,
See,
mate.
I would have failed.
So I'm gonna post it under random because I don't think it falls under any
That's
other
fair.
category.
Yeah, I don't think we're
But
streaming anymore.
yeah, so you can take a look at what grants you points and how many points you need to pass.
Ah, that name can approve.
Oh, this is awesome. I'm gonna study. I'll be there in a week. That's cool.
Dude, I got so lucky with Spanish in college after looking at how they want you to know French. I just finished high
Yeah.
school with doing a bunch of Spanish, and I took their placement exam, and I was like, oh, I don't have to take Spanish in college.
Yeah, no, I got all my third language, whatever they call it, foreign language. There we go. Foreign language out in high school, so I didn't have to take any in college. I took German.
Well, if you know one Romance language, you kind of know a lot of the other Romance languages.
Or what? They all come from Latin, or the majority of them
Yeah.
do. Like
Yeah,
Spanish,
Latin.
English. They all have what's it called? Conjugates. Like in Spanish, it's aeroplane, and in English, it's airplane. Like they're pretty similar.
Yeah, well, even things like words for father and mother, like very basic root words, you can trace back to a lot of what's the word I'm looking for?
Anglican.
Right?
No.
Indo-Saxon. Give it to
I
me.
think it's Proto-Indo-European languages. You can
What?
trace
I've never heard of that.
a lot of them to a common ancestor. Which kind of makes sense because linguistics is derivative and evolutionary. So
yeah, it was when I was taking German. It was really close. Like a lot of words were really close to English. Like Hund was dog, and Mutter was mother, and Vater was father. And there's tons of other ones, but yeah, it's like that for every language. Where it's like, oh yeah, this word came from that, and
And then
to
you
be
get
honest,
Die
the
Hunden
toughest
Bliegen.
part is just the grammar of the language.
Same
How
with
the
Spanish.
sentences are structured, because like understanding words are easy on their own. It's just remembering them, and like at least for German, there's also thes for everything.
Okay,
So
we're wildly off topic. I'm ending stream, by the way. we can keep chatting.
already.
It's also